Now at 4, strong storms again on the North Shore. How long we're going to have to continue with this off and on heavy rain.
Plus, the search and rescue mission happening now for a dozen lift boat workers. What we know about what went wrong.
The United States will begin our final withdrawal, begin it on May 1 of this year.
You heard it there, final withdrawal. The president's plan to remove troops from one part of the Middle East and why the mission is meeting backlash this afternoon. The news at 4 starts now.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WDSU News at 4.
First at 4, umbrellas still in the air after another nasty, soggy, even downright dangerous at times Wednesday across Southeast Louisiana, and we are still under a flash flood watch this afternoon. And even if some of you are seeing breaks in the rain, it's no time to let your guard down or put that umbrella away. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gina Swanson.
And I'm Sella Kim. Chief Meteorologist Margaret Orr is standing by with what you need to know today. Margaret?
Well, right now, you need to know that you've got strong storms moving across the North Shore. And look, if you've got across the causeway, you've got rain moving over the causeway. I don't know if you're like me. I hate to drive on the causeway when you've got that heavy rain. So we just want to look at our storm tracker up here on the North Shore. Do you see what we have here? We have a bow echo. Look, let me draw it for you right in here. That is where you've got the bow, and that means that you've got the potential to have very strong gusty winds. So let me do a storm track for you, and you can see where this storm is that I'm watching. It is right over Tangipahoa Parish, and it's moving to the east now at about 30 miles per hour. So Folsom, it's going to be there in about 19 minutes, St. Benedict in about 28 minutes. Be aware that you're going to have winds gusting to about 40 miles per hour. You could even have some small hail. So here is a look. Do you know we still have this flash flood watch in effect? And it's in effect until noontime tomorrow, but it may be extended. The potential through Saturday for an additional 2 to 5 inches of rain. And I've got to tell you, over at my house, I've had about 10 inches of rain over the past 6 days. So you look, we've got a severe risk for today, a severe risk for Thursday, and that risk is mainly for strong winds, possibly some hail. So far at the airport, about 1/2 of an inch of rain, so that means 9 1/4 so far for the month. The biggest concern, damaging winds and storms. It's a low risk for tornadoes, hail, and of course that heavy rain potential that we've been seeing. So here is a look, a whole lot of lightning. Look, with that storm that's over the lake, and here is a look at all of this activity moving across the North Shore, and with it, rivers will be on the rise. More on that coming up in a moment.
Whenever we engage, the Coast Guard engages in a search and rescue effort, we are hopeful.
So happening now, the Coast Guard is continuing its search for 12 people missing off the coast of Port Fourchon. 6 people have been rescued and 1 body recovered since a lift boat capsized in yesterday's severe weather. WDSU's Morgan Lent is following this developing story for us. She joins us live with what we know right now. Morgan?
Yeah, Solo, well, we want to let you know that some family members of those missing people have actually made their way here to Port Fourchon, waiting for news about their loved ones. We found them gathered at the nearby fire station not far from where we are right now. And firefighters opened up that facility so those families could get out of the rain that moved through earlier. And as you just mentioned, the search continues at this time for 12 people. 1 body was recovered this morning and 6 other people were rescued yesterday. A total of 19 people were on that lift boat when it capsized yesterday during those really severe storms. WDSU talked to another man who was on the water at the same time. Here's how he described those conditions.
The waves are folding over the back deck. It was covering the boat. Like, it was something I've never seen in my life. It was like a category 2 or 3 storm that just hit us unexpectedly, because if a hurricane would have been coming, everybody would have been in port, tied up. Everybody would have got out of harm's way.
And so coming up at 4:30, we're going to have the very latest from the Coast Guard on these search and rescue efforts. But for right now, reporting live in Port Fourchon, I'm Morgan Lentis, WDSU News.
Morgan, thank you. The owner of the vessel, Seacor Marine, released a statement. It says, "We are deeply saddened by the news of the vessel capsizing and are working closely with the U.S. Coast Guard and Good Samaritan vessels for their immediate response, as well as the brave individuals who have further supported our search and rescue efforts. Our hearts and prayers go out to everyone involved," end quote. So more on this story right now on the WDSU mobile app and coming up in our next half hour.
All right, let's take you to the North Shore now, where we are seeing reports of high water and flooding in some areas. By now, residents in St. Tammany Parish are tired of days of rain and downpours. WDSU's Casey Ferrand live in Pearl River with a look at conditions there. Casey.
Hey, Gina, yeah, we got a break in the rain here this afternoon, but earlier around noon we had lightning and thunder and also downpours. But right now the main concern here has been localized flooding and also these rising river levels. This is the Pearl River right here behind us. It's about 17 feet at this point, and just outside of Slidell in the River Gardens area earlier today, we saw crews had put out high water signs on roads that are prone to flooding, and on Birch Drive it was covered with water from showers yesterday and earlier this afternoon. St. Tammany Parish leaders are monitoring these river levels at this point at the Tchefuncte, Pearl, Bogachitta, and Bogafalaya rivers. After days of rain and more forecasted for this week, the rivers remain in flood stage and are expected to continue rising. One River Gardens resident we spoke to says although they're used to this kind of flooding, it's still a bit annoying.
Every time it rains, all it floods. Especially this time of year between March and May.
Is it frustrating or is it kind of just you deal with
It's a little aggravating. It gets kind of deep sometimes. For a car, I mean with a truck it don't really bother me.
Is this how deep it'll get or does it get a little deeper?
It gets a little deeper than that. It get about 18 inches, I guess. Yeah, about 1.5 feet.
You ever get stuck back there?
No. Just hurry up and drive too fast.
Or don't come through at all?
Or don't come through at all, correct.
And of course, parish leaders are encouraging residents to play it safe. If you do see some high water covering roads or any barricades that have been placed, do not try to cross those roads. That's the safest measure throughout the next few days. Reporting live in Pearl River, I'm Casey Ferrand, WDSU News.
Casey, thank you. Remember, you can stay ahead of the threat by downloading the WDSU mobile app for severe weather alerts straight to the palm of your hand.
An update this afternoon for you. The young woman from St. Tammany Parish who went missing in the Tchefuncte River for almost 12 hours last week sadly passed away. Family members confirmed to WDSU that Laura Thomas died yesterday. Search crews found Thomas alive Saturday after family members reported her missing Friday night. Well, she went to Lakeview Regional Medical Center to be treated for hypothermia and a brain injury. Laura's family set up an account, so if you want to help cover the cost of her funeral expenses, you can head over to WDSU.com for that link.
I've concluded that it's time to end America's longest war.
And today, President Biden announced plans to withdraw all U.S. troops from Afghanistan by September 11th. That's nearly 20 years after troops entered the region following the terrorist attacks on America. Correspondent Bree Jackson is in Washington with a look at the president's plan and why critics call the withdrawal dangerous.
Pulling U.S. troops out of Afghanistan.
It's time to end America's longest war. It's time for American troops to come home.
During his speech, President Biden laid out his timeline to withdraw troops from Afghanistan, beginning no later than May 1st, with withdrawal complete by September 11th.
Rather than return to war with the Taliban, we have to focus on the challenges that are in front of us. We have to track and disrupt terrorist networks and operations that spread far beyond Afghanistan since 9/11.
The president saying he consulted with allies, military leaders, and lawmakers. Senator Chuck Schumer praised the president's decision, but top Republicans criticized the move, arguing withdrawal should be based on conditions on the ground, not a certain date.
We know that this kind of a pullback is reckless, it's dangerous, It puts American security at risk. It will provide an opportunity for terrorists to be able to establish safe havens again.
The U.S. has fought in Afghanistan for nearly 2 decades, leaving more than 2,000 troops dead and tens of thousands wounded. Roughly 2,500 troops remain in Afghanistan. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson.
And it is worth noting here that the Trump administration set a May 1st deadline to complete the troop withdrawal and received much of the same criticism.
If there is a concern about a hesitancy out there, the fact that this was done would, in my mind, underscore and confirm how seriously we take safety, even though it's a very rare event.
You heard it there. Dr. Anthony Fauci says pausing the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine is out of an abundance of caution. The U.S. halted use of the vaccine after 6 reported cases of a rare and severe type of blood clot. Fauci says this gives experts time to see if there are any other cases out there. He says he thinks the pause will likely be days to weeks rather than months. And here in our state, more than 2.25 million doses of the vaccine have been administered. 1.3 million people have started the vaccine series, and this number keeps going up. Almost 1 million people in our state are fully vaccinated. WDSU making sure it's easy for you to get the vaccine. If you still haven't gotten your shot just yet, you can take out your phone right now, open up your camera and point it at this QR code. A link will pop up and it'll take you to a vaccine guide that we have created just for you. All right, still to come, cop charged with the officer at the center of another controversial case is accused of. Plus, hear the support from the family in another shooting case. As we go to break, here's a live look at traffic on your Wednesday afternoon. The commute is moving along. Slick conditions out there. Be careful on the roadways. We'll be right back.